Hello, my name is David Evers, Secretary of Mining for Twin Cedar Mining District, local government with home rule. And I was doing some research today because of Senator Merkley's saying he worked for Americorps. Well, it turns out Americorps is a corporation owned by the federal government. It has more than one funding source from the federal government, but one of the funding sources is a sub-agency of the Department of Defense, and it's called the National Service Agency, a sub-agency of the DoD. And they gave them this year $404 million for different purposes. One of them is to run active duty family members of active duty military people. Uh, they're contracted, they're given a grant to take care of family members that are active duty, and because if they were out of the service, they would get the Veterans Administration, and that's a different funding source. So they're funding active military for family military people, their families to go to this service. It doesn't cost them anything because they get a grant. And then they fund several different other things. Now, how Americorps got started was through Kennedy when he did where he created the national services. He started it through the Defense Department as one agency, and because it was in lieu of being drafted, it was considered national service, and it was a replacement for serving in the service. This was for a place for college students. When they got out of college, they could go to work for Americorps or Peace Corps. This is the over agency that funds the Peace Corps and Vista and all of those. And these are part of the war on poverty from Johnson. So tracking everything what they do is pretty big because they got pretty big budgets because they get them different purposes from different grants from different federal agencies depending on what they're being granted to do or contracted to do. And since this is a government agency, AmeriCorps, Corps is owned by the federal government. And it looks like the chief executive officer gets a very good salary. You should look into it. hmm Very interesting. All these cushy jobs for college students when they get out of college. But it's also where they can get civilians to go work in the Defense Department, like Senator Merkley did when he left AmeriCorps and went to work for the Defense Department. Now, anybody can apply to go to work for the Defense Department. Doesn't mean they're going to get hired. But if you're in Ameritrade because you showed national service, you get preferential treatment, and it's a sure thing. And I got to go, and I'll talk to you later, and I'll share this as soon as I can. Marcus,